So people get a bit near to the knuckle sometimes, but how near to the knuckle is too close to the knuckle? And that's something that I've been thinking about for a few days. And a couple of things have triggered that sort of chain of thought. The first one, let me make you aware of a channel if you're not already. It's a guy, his channel is called Satire, atheist, obviously from Satire, Brooke and Kate, and he makes videos largely satirizing religion, and very, very funny videos they are too. I'll play you a quick clip just to show you the kind of, give you a flavour of the kind of thing that he does.
Well, give it away to the poor.
Now I know that standards have slipped in the last few years in Bethany, but for a Messiah you are remarkably cavalier without any idea of justice.
I mean, I find that is fantastic. George Galloway as Judas, using the dialogue from the speech he gave to the Senate committee. It's a very, very clever channel, and he does some very, very good comedy. Given the amount of subscribers Dark Matter has, Non-Stamp Collector has, given how quickly the Armoured Skeptics channel has just gone woof and took off, I can't believe this guy only has 3,500 subscribers. He's massively undersubscribed when you look at some of the material that he does. So that's me praising him, but he's come in for a lot of criticism recently on the grounds that he's been perhaps out of order, that he's overshot. He made a video about BionicDance, satirizing BionicDance. Maybe I should show you a clip from that.
If a book falls on my head, does that mean I only have myself to blame? Let's do this.
So that kind of gives you a flavour, and most people were kind of, BionicDance might not have been, but that's the nature of satire, which is that it's pretty cutting, and I can kind of understand. I mean, fucking hell, I'm perfect, so I don't need to worry about that kind of thing, but I can understand people not always finding those things funny when it applies to themselves. But the end of it perhaps got a little close to the bone, because turns out BionicDance suffers from epilepsy, and at the end of the video he mocked her epilepsy. Now, I did debate, should I show this, shouldn't I, should I just point you at the video? But if I just point people at the video, I know that about 90% of people never fucking watch it, so I'll show you the disputed part of the video.
Uh-oh. Looks like I'm gonna have a spaz fit.
Okay, now I have to say, I've got to give my thoughts on this. I thought that was a little bit over the top. Okay, I thought it was. I thought it's perhaps a little learning experience as to when you've gone a little bit too far and when you haven't. I didn't think that it was quite the hanging offence that some people made it out to be. I saw Richard Coughlin and Alex Botton have a reasonable discussion about it. I'm not talking about those responses, but there was a couple of other response videos that seem... I mean, it's the nature of the fucking internet, isn't it? Something's either brilliant or somebody deserves to die for having said it. It's so polarised, people's response to things. I thought he was out of order, but I didn't really think it was an absolute hanging offence there. But it made me start to think about it, and the reason that really set me thinking about it was to set that alongside something that happened to me. I made a video the other day called Religion Rebutted 2, which dealt with William Lane Craig, and I made what I thought was quite an innocuous comment right at the beginning, saying that the thing that William Lane Craig is most known for, other than having little thumbs that go like this, is... But it was the thumbs bit, because then a couple of people pointed out to me, oh, William Lane Craig has a neurological disease or something, a muscle wasting disease, a neuromuscular disease. Okay, and the implication is that it might be that disease that is responsible for him sort of holding his thumbs like that when he talks. And of course, if it is, then the implication is that I'm way out of line, having made a joke about it. And I made the comment back, sort of slightly flippantly, well, you tell me what that disease is called, and once you can put a name on that disease, then I will give you a full and frank and heartfelt apology. And I said that a bit sarcastically, but I think there's some truth value in that, because this is my sort of train of thought on this, which is that it's as if it's okay to mock something until we can kind of put a name on it. You know, I can mock somebody for being an idiot and for sounding and acting like an idiot, but if they then announce down the line that they actually suffer from Wurlitzer-Jones idiocy syndrome, all of a sudden I'm massively out of line for having done so. Don't bother looking up Wurlitzer-Jones idiocy syndrome. I just made the fucking thing up, right, just to save you Googling that one. But once we put a name on something, it's as if different rules apply. And yet it's not exactly clear why. It's the same, you could have gone to school, worked as hard as you could have possibly done at school, but always struggled with your spelling. You've always been shit at spelling. And you write a comment down and you garble the spelling up. And it's fine for people to criticise and take them, as long as they don't do it in a really nasty way, but take the mickey out of your spelling. But if it then turns out that you've got dyslexia, then they're really out of line. Then they owe you an apology because they've mocked your dyslexia. But what is dyslexia other than putting a name on the reason why you're bad for spelling, right? If you're bad at spelling, there's always a reason why you're bad at spelling. And so why does it matter? Why do we differentiate between one reason that you're bad at spelling and another reason that you're bad at spelling when they're both genuine reasons? It's if the only difference is that we've put a name on one of them and not on the other. And then that made me think about a video I'd been watching with some friends about a week earlier, and this isn't the exact video, but it's the same kind of thing. So let me show you a clip here.
Oh, yeah.
I think we've all seen that kind of thing, haven't we? These videos of people having nasty fucking accidents, smashing themselves. That one doesn't have a canned laughter soundtrack, but they often do. We even have these on mainstream TV where we laugh at people having accidents. And we can laugh at them having accidents as long as they're not seriously injured, right? I think that's the rule. And I say seriously injured because they're clearly injured. They're clearly in fucking pain. It's pretty obvious as a result of some of these clips that they're in pain. But as long as they don't have a serious injury that we can laugh. And that's what I've always took the ground rules to be there. But actually, I don't think those are the ground rules. I think the ground rules are actually quite similar to what we're talking about mocking people with a disability. It's not that we have to, it's not that they haven't had a serious injury. For all you know, the last guy that you saw in that clip there is now paralysed from the fucking waist down. He could have snapped his neck for all you know. He could be in a wheelchair for the rest of his life. And if I told you I'm going to show you that clip, and as a result of this accident, this guy is now spending the rest of his life in a wheelchair, then the fucking comedy disappears, doesn't it? There's nothing funny in that clip anymore. So it seems as if the rule isn't that we have to know that this person isn't seriously injured. No, it's slightly different to that. We can laugh at it as long as we don't know the person is seriously injured, as long as it's not sure, and we can sort of, we've got this kind of get out, well, we just assume that the person was all right. These are clips on the internet, by the way, not on a mainstream television channel, so we have no way of knowing that those people aren't seriously injured. But it's okay to laugh, it's fine to laugh as long as we don't actually know that they're seriously injured. And it seems to be the same with people's physical attributes, or the quirkiness of their character, or perhaps the slowness of their wit, which is that there's something slightly arbitrary about it, isn't there? That if we haven't put this label on it, then it's kind of okay. It's still fucking open season. But once, if it's something that we've managed to categorise, some doctor or somebody who's researched and managed to categorise and box and say, all the people, there's a number of people of the same thing, this is what we're going to call it, then all of a sudden it becomes terribly bad form to take the piss out of that characteristic. Now, I'm not saying where the good lies here, and I'm not saying where the bad lies here. What I am saying is that perhaps in some ways we're kind of twisted in the way we look at this, that we're either giving people too much free range to take the piss when we shouldn't, or we're perhaps a little bit too harsh on criticising people just when a name has been put to something. That's the kind of food for thought that I'm getting from this. I'm not exactly sure where I'm at with it. I'm interested to know what anybody else thinks. As I say, with regard to this Satire atheist, I'd subscribe because he does some fantastic things. I do think he was a little bit over the top. He maybe should have left that little bit out of the video. I found that a little bit in bad taste, even though I can't totally justify why I'd find that in bad taste, perhaps, and not some other things. He has made a video giving his follow-up feelings on that and why he thinks it's a fuck off to everybody, to be quite honest. He was pissed off. So you might want to have a look at that as well and perhaps chime in. I'd be interested to know where everybody else stands on this. Anyway, thank you for watching this video and bye for now.